Hello, my name is David, and I will talk about the possible consequences of the independence of Catalonia from Spain. First of all, to better understand the context, I read an article from El Mundo called "Nationalism in 21st Century" that talks about nationalism in all around the world, not only in Spain but especially in Catalonia. Okay, the nationalism exists for thousands of years, but the concept of nation is not at all. Is very recent. The first nations were France, England, and the United States of America, and after that, the rest of countries that we know nowadays gradually followed these first countries, and the formation of nations came after great social revolutions as the French Revolution, or after wars like the World Wars. The last wave of nation building came after the end of the Soviet Union, that formed countries like the Baltic republics, like Ukraine, like Armenia, but at the same time, the dismemberment of Yugoslavia formed the countries of Serbia, of Croatia, or Slovenia, and it happened just 30 years ago. It's not after. It's not 100 years ago. It's only 30. But nowadays, most of the Earth area are divided in nations. So I would like to know what is the real reason for nationalism nowadays, because all nationalism were necessary to modernize the political system, or to liberate some populations from imperialism and colonialism. But what is the real reason for current nationalism? To better understand the nationalism in Spain, I read an article from El País called Nationalism in Spain. Nationalist movement in Spain began in the 19th century. There is a Spanish nationalist model, and a model of regions or nations lacking a state. The first one is the idea of sovereignty of the Spanish nation with the citizen participation, and the second idea is a nationalism of stateless nations. It is a feeling of identification with the community in which you were born, with the idea that each people has the right to exercise sovereign power over the territory where you live. The defenders of this nationalism link their cultural particularities and their own languages with the need of our own state. We can say that Spain is a nation of nations because a lot of different cultures, a lot of different languages, a lot of different customs coexist in the Spanish territory, but there are two nationalism that took these ideas of nationalism to an extreme, to the extreme that they would like to become an independent country. And the most radical branch came from the Basque Country. In the Basque Country, there were this okay. In the Basque Country, there were a extremist group that that carried out decades of terrorism in Spain, causing a lot of deaths, hundreds of deaths. It was almost 1,000 deaths. But his aim were to achieve the independence by violence, by shootings, by throwing bombs, but by by kidnapping. But finally, they ceased its murdery activity, and now the issue of the independence and the nationalism in the Basque Country is controversial, but not as controversial and tense as it used to be. In Catalonia, no group were so extremist like in the Basque Country, but the subject of the independence has been conflicting for centuries. To learn the reasons why Catalonia wants to become an independent country, I read an article from the BBC called Catalonia, 4 questions to understand what is behind the massive protest of the last few days. Apart from the own culture and the own language, the one of the most important reasons for the independence of Catalonia is an economic reason. Catalonia is rich, is a very rich region. I think is the richest region in Spain, and they say Catalan people says that they give Spain more money than they received in public services, in social aids. So they think if they become independent, they will have more money. But to 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 wait if it's better the independence or not, we have to take into account what you lose and what you win. If you lose more than you win, maybe it's not that good, the independence. So to know, to understand better this issue, I read an article from the BBC as well called "What Spain and Catalonia Lose If They Split Up." Catalonia would be out of the European Union. That means that they won't have access to a market in which goods and people move freely without paying extra taxes or visas. And if Catalonia wants to be part of the European Union, they will have to apply to enter a process that will take a while, a lot of ages. So another problem would be that companies and universities won't have access to research programs from the European Union, and these programs are a very important source of funding, so it's a problem as well. There would be as well a massive flight of companies and capital that not allowed to pay civil servants, and a lot of jobs will be destroyed. They will have to stop using the euro, and they would be outside protection of the European Central Bank. There would be also a boycott from the Spanish people, because if Catalonia become independent, a lot of Spanish people, as a revenge, will stop buying Catalan products, and that would mean a problem for Catalan economy, because they will be much poor. Uh, but Catalonia wouldn't be the only part that lose. Spain lose as well. Spain will lose its richest and prosperous region. Catalonia make the 19% of national GDP, and Spain would become a poor country. Catalonia invests a lot in R&D, is the region that produces the most scientific publications, occupies the 5th place in Europe in terms of startups, attract more than 50% of investments made in Spain, etc. But finally, and as all we know, the tourism is a very important thing in Catalonia and Spain. Tourism is the most important source of funding of the Spanish government. And Catalonia has a lot of tourism because of its spectacular landscapes, its very important cultural heritage as well, mainly the Gaudi works in Barcelona. And Catalonia attracts 15 million tourists per year, and it's almost a quarter of the total foreign tourism in Spain. That makes a lot. And now I know it's a very controversial question, but I would like to know if you think that the decision of going out Spain should be taken only by Catalans, or all the Spanish people should participate, because it's a decision that affects Spanish people as well, not only Catalans. So what do you think? Should only Catalans vote for an independence, or the Spanish people should have the right of decide as well, because it's a decision that affects them? And that's all. Thank you for watching. Here is the bibliography. And that's all.